We love you, but we are going to check your references. What's happening? I am Erik J. Olson. Now, when would I say this? When would I say we're going to check your references? I would say this if we were about to hire somebody. So, our interview process, our hiring process is that someone applies, we have an initial 15-minute kind of interview with them to make sure they have the requisite skills. And then we have a longer team interview with more people. And then we have a founders interview between me and Kevin and the prospect. And what Kevin and I are checking for is not a skill fit, but more like cultural fit. And anywhere along that process, any of those interviewees or interviewers, I should say, probably the people interviewing, can veto the candidate, right? So at the 15-minute mark, if they're like, nah, this person is clearly is not qualified, they're gone. At the team interview period of time, if they conclude that the person doesn't have the requisite skills, then they don't advance. If Kevin and I, during the founders interview, conclude that that person is not a fit, they're done. And this has happened many times with people that we have hired. They will be ejected from the process during one of those three steps. But there is a final step. And the final step is kind of like a due diligence. And what I mean by that is the final, it's really kind of a few steps at the end. One is we do a background check and we tell the person, and they have to consent to it. We're going to do a background check, right? So if you're a felon or I don't know, there's something not very good in your background, it'll be exposed and it may lead to us not making you an offer. But we also do reference checks. So with reference checks, we will actually get a list of people from the candidate to call, but we'll also find other people that we know who are connected to this candidate. Now we can find those people through social media like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, common connections, right? Or I will ask a buddy, let's say the candidate works for ABC Corporation. I will ask my friends, other business owners who are in that industry, hey, do you know anybody at ABC Corporation? And if they say, oh, yeah, I know Bob, I'll call Bob. I'll cold call Bob. Hey, Bob, my friend said he knows you. Look, I'm calling for a reference check for this candidate who applied for us. He wants to come work for us. Now, the way that the reference check goes, and I'm telling you this because this is the way that we do it. If you run a company as well, this could be helpful to you. If you're not doing reference checks, I would strongly suggest it. Do 2 or 3 reference checks. Here are the questions that we ask. Now, if you're a candidate here, then you should probably know this as well because we're going to ask these questions not only of the people that you provide to us, but again, of the people that we know that you didn't provide to us. We're trying to find the truth here, okay? It's best for all of us if we get to the truth now rather than later. So, first question is, how do you know him or her? Second question, when did you last work for him or her? How would you rate his or her work? How much direction does he or she require? Do people like working with them? And then the final question, would you hire or rehire them? Now, that last question is a big one because if you burned a bridge whatsoever or you did anything that was not, above board, it's going to come out there. So that's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to the truth. Like what happened at your last job or 2 jobs ago or whatever. And we don't want to just hear from, friends, your friends that if you're a candidate, your friends that worked at the old company or still work there. We're looking for we're just looking for the truth. We are always trying to be as transparent as possible and get to the truth. So for that reason, we ask those questions. We want to know what we're all getting into before we get into it. Hey there, it's Erik J. Olson. I wanted to let you know about my book, $1 Million Journey, How to Launch a 7-Figure Business. This is the story of what it took for me to go from freelancer with no clients, no employees, no revenue, to growing $1 million business. It took me 8 years and I made a lot of mistakes. And all of those mistakes, and more importantly, lessons learned, are in this book. And we have chapter takeaways, 5 to 15 takeaways that you could apply right now to your business. Check it out on Amazon, $1 Million Journey by me, Erik J. Olson.